So let's see if I can come up with anything to say. I don't have any topic in mind, but I felt like taking some video here. I woke up early, like super early. It was pretty nice. I usually do this when I don't have anything else to do. I go pretty far from the city center and get a coffee and just sit outside and walk and listen to lectures. I have headphones on. And right now this area is kind of unknown to me. I mean, this part of this forest and this hill that I'm climbing, there's a big river behind. I cannot show it because it's somewhat far, like maybe 200 or 300 meters that way. I mentioned the river in another video. It's a nice place, nice looking place. So on top of this hill there is an artificial lake. So, but I don't know if I can get there. It's basically off limits from ordinary people because I think it's kind of a, I don't know if it's a drinking water reserve or something. Okay, this got very difficult. I don't know how to continue. Where should I go? Okay. It's funny how when you want to be alone, like I bought a salad. Damn, I gotta say this after this maybe. It's a bit difficult to speak normally here. Wow, nobody has come, or not many people have gone from here. It would be cool to see the lake a little bit at least. I mean, I know there is gonna be a fence, but maybe there's a hole. I don't know if I'm breaking the law though if I go inside. So maybe it's better not to go there. Oh, sorry about the noises, but it's really difficult not to make them here. Or somebody has been camping, and yeah, definitely I cannot go there. There are cameras and stuff. There are signs. Signs here, but well, it's visible, the lake. I've never been here. I am not totally sure what the water is for, but I assume it will be cleaned or cleansed before use, if it's for drinking purposes and cooking and stuff. Where could I go? Where could I go to get the best view through the fence? But this is like on top of a hill, so it's kind of an unusual feature. It would have been nice to get in there, but oh well. So talking, especially in English, it's a little bit like walking in a bog. So there are a lot of pauses for me because I haven't spoken or talked in English in a very long time. I do listen to English pretty much every day, but I don't speak it, so it seems to be a little bit difficult. It doesn't feel difficult, but when I like listen back, or right now I can also notice the pauses, like one has to think what to say next and how to say it. I think that was the only view of the lake. There are not gonna be any other. But we'll see what we'll bump into next along the way. So I'll talk about similar subjects as before, but not strictly in the same way, or not strictly bringing up the same points as before necessarily. But this is actually love, like everything, all this. And in nature it can become more evident maybe than usual. There are a lot of flower flies here. There are these, well actually there are normal flies too, it seems. But these are not bees. They look like bees, but they're like mock bees, or I don't know how to say it. They're camouflaged, but they're flies. I'm trying to film them, but they fly away. They're not here anymore. Just normal flies now. So being is love, and somehow it's evident, or it can become evident. And right now I don't know how to say it because it's not for me and it's not here, but I don't know how else to express it. The love is subtly somehow evident now, as everything in a way. As this apparent nature, as this talking and comprehending this talk, or comprehending these concepts, these words. And there aren't actually separate concepts really, but because nothing is separate, so there actually aren't separate thoughts even though it's many times pointed out that there are thoughts that can be noticed, but ultimately in a way all is one. So if all is one, then there cannot be any separation anywhere. And thoughts and ideas and stuff, oh shit, this was a bad route. We'll see what happens. YOLO. Okay. Whoa. So the world is illusory, only Brahman is real. I've said this before in another video. Only Brahman is real, but the world is Brahman. So that's the indicator or an expression to the lack of separation or lack of any real separation. So the world includes thoughts, and they're illusory, since the world is illusory. But the world is also Brahman, so it sounds very paradoxical, and I don't know if it can be explained. Not that it has to be explained. I think there's a squirrel somewhere over there by the noise. I'm not seeing it. Why am I shooting this video? I don't know. No particular reason. It's playing, and nobody's really doing it. Nobody separates, but there appears to be the choice to grab the cell phone and start filming. Just for fun maybe, or I don't know, it's playing. Why else, what else to do? How else to enjoy life apart from playing? Like the body cannot all the time, it cannot stay grasping at some non-doing state, meditative state or something. It's not about just staying or sitting still as the body all the time. That's also grasping, like I mentioned in the previous video, apparently. That the two dynamics of the so-called egoic separating or separate life, the two dynamics are grasping and aversion, which are based on ignorance. So if there's the idea that life has to look a particular way, then that's grasping at that idea. The idea could be of bliss, like holding on to some blissful state. And that's also separation, because there's that blissful state and the demand for it to stay. The demand indicates that there is someone that has that demand. And that's, again, that false duality of someone or some subject, and the subject is linked to an object. And that split is duality, which is not real. Oh yeah, what was I saying? I was saying about the people. It's weird sometimes. Like, I bought the salad and I went to a park bench to eat the salad, and it was kind of far away from anything, but there were other benches too nearby. But then these two old women, they had to come to sit right next to me as I was eating the salad, and the one closer to me, she started to cough. And like, there's no social awareness apparently, that, I mean, on their part, like, not thinking about, and I'm not complaining or anything, but it's just strange how things sometimes go. So you would think that you could eat in peace and not having to worry about catching some disease, and then something like that, for whatever reason, happens. Maybe it is somehow life's way to show the hang-ups. Like maybe there was a hang-up for me about, well, the fear about catching some disease and the aversion to that kind of a situation. And yeah, there was a noticing of that, those preferences. Like it wasn't it wasn't very harsh, the opinions that were inside, or metaphorically inside this head, that had to do with well, it was more like wondering, like why did they come here? There's another bench right over there. Why did they have to sit here? Before it would have been like, before it would have been something more harsh on my part, something like, oh, you fucking piece of shit, why you go, like I would have probably said something to them, or I would have left the bench right away. But now it was like, okay, I mean, there was just noticing that old egoic reactivity that was, in this case, it was more mild. It was like, why didn't I go there? That was about it. And usually with those opinions, there are also feelings associated with those opinions, feelings of aversion. And there was a slight feeling of aversion there also now. But it seems to be less than before, and also, like, this body hasn't been as sick as before. That's what is it? Oh, I don't know this bird's name in English. It's a big one. It's over there. Wait. Oh, it flew off over there. No, that's another one. Another kind of a bird. I think there was a raven also, but that was tilhi or something like that. Or no, not tilhi. Uh, the other similar bird. I forgot the name in Finnish even. But they can be in relative peace in that area because there are no humans inside this, beyond this fence. And I forgot what I was saying before that. So yeah, states change, and even blissful states cannot be held onto, but bliss seems to appear when the selfing mode drops or wears down enough. Oh, I see the bird, but it's not visible to the camera. Or I saw it, it flew off again. So this is already paradise. The, and this is already infinity. And the true nature of, well, paradise is not the true nature. I don't know what the true nature would be in words. But this, reality or whatever can appear either as suffering and hell, like hellish states, or as paradise. But there's nobody in it in a way, like nobody's separate. These are blueberry pan, blueberry, blueberry pan. No, what? I cannot speak. Blueberry plants, not blueberry pants. So the love has to do with, like, feeling the love has to do with relaxation and just not focusing on the next thing, not having the feeling of needing to reach some other place or some other state. It's just being in this moment, kind of like a child who doesn't have any cares in the moment, no future or past, just wonders what is, wonders what is. The space got run out of the phone. I don't know where it got cut off, but I was talking about lucid dreams and how this life is when the selfing mode, the me, separate me sense that I'm living this life, when that ends, and all the ideas and feelings and beliefs and opinions and all that stuff, when that ends, there usually is simultaneously an awakening to the nature of this life. And it cannot be put into words, like it cannot be said what this life, what the nature of reality is. But the state is kind of like can be like a lucid dream that nobody is having. And lucid dream means when it happens during nighttime, in a night dream, it's basically the state where something wakes up, the awareness, the dreaming awareness or the dreaming mind wakes up as the dream is still going, so the body doesn't wake up. So there's awakeness during the dream. And in the similar way, that same thing can happen during this life, like right now. But what wakes up, that cannot be said, or I cannot say that, I don't know. There are words like I said actually, awareness or big M mind wakes up or something. And yeah, it's totally amazing, can be, but it can also be totally shocking, like beyond anything that could have been imagined by the mind. If it's I don't know what causes it. I mean, what causes the shock? Wait. I was here freeing up space from my phone, so I can shoot more video, and I didn't notice this little buddy, the squirrel over there. Apparently that squirrel was there the whole time, hadn't moved in like 10 minutes. Now it's gone. Yeah, I had apparently a lot to say, but again, didn't film due to the space restrictions. Yeah, animals run away when you start to speak, but when one is just quiet, they get kind of close, it seems. So this life can appear as hell or as heaven, but neither is the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth, in a way, is quiet and doesn't say anything about anything. But this seems kind of heavenly, and there seems to be unconditional. This seems to be love, unconditional love. And it's evident when the confusion and the sense of separation and the me and my life, that stuff, when that ends, the fixation and the sense that it's real, like that there is a real world out there and there's a real body separate from the world with agency, like I can do and choose things and I'm the one who speaks, and this is all in quotes, so I'm the one uh, who thinks all that is false, actually. Okay, there have been some kids here, apparently. Kids make these kind of cottages nowadays. Okay, now it's just the battery that determines how long this will last. I freed up some more space on the phone. Oh yeah, the despair. Uh, I didn't think that I would say this or this would come to mind, but the despair, when the emptiness and the infinity and nothingness gets somehow revealed, it's extremely distressing and can cause like the worst despair. Only when there is someone separate there, still somehow aware of it, an illusory separate one. So it can be revealed due to having taken some psychedelics or even cannabis, or without those. It can come due to meditation and stuff like that. But there can be the noticing of like one of the most subtle mind movements. Whoa, a deer. That's a unicorn. It has only one horn. I don't know if I can zoom in. Let's see. I don't see the screen, so I don't know if it's filming. It's a unicorn. Only one horn. Okay, I have to look at the screen so I know if it's zooming anymore. It's so bright and it's so glossy, the screen. So it's one of the most subtle mind movements. It's that when there's the opening, the revelation of like oneness or not two, like God, basically. All this is God. There's only God. There is nothing else. Or there is only reality. There's no unreality. So the subtlest mind movements, which can be noticed also, is that sense of or that movement, apparent movement of, or the pose it's almost like a mental yogic pose of being the looker. There's like the revelation of the emptiness, and then there's this movement of I need to comprehend this. Let me look at this. Okay, battery may run out soon. And that pose, like, or that mental movement of tension. Oh, there's a baby squirrel here. Look. That causes the despair. Look at that. Look at the face. Is that a baby? A young squirrel? It's kind of small. Can I creep up on it? Let's see what happens. Oh, it's all up there. I shake a hand. Alright. So it's not even the yogic pose. I just call it a yogic pose. It's not it has nothing to do with yoga. But anyway. So that causes the despair. So it's not a language thought. It's not really even an image. It's not. Well, it kind of has to do with images. Some other subtle mental processes about, like, I'm the one who has arrived here. I'm really close at getting this. These are really, really subconscious thoughts. And then there's the pose of, okay, I will look at this oneness, but that causes a split, which is actually there's no real split. It's not. But there is an. It appears that there can appear that kind of a thing. And that's what the despair has to do with. It leaves the seeming one, the false subject, the false experiencer, the false me. It leaves that one in despair. It leaves that one in nothing. There's nothing to hold on to. There's, like, it's evident that there's no past, no future, but still somehow there's some separate one seemingly there, suffering from that sense of total isolation, like absolute total isolation. It's like there are no other people anymore at all, but then there seems to be this one who is suffering from that eternal nothingness and emptiness. Oh, that's a baby bird, is it? What is the another one? I had this. I took care of this kind of a little bird when I was young. I named the bird Raksu. I was living on an island back then, and then I cried when the bird got lost. I cried a lot after that. I thought it had died. I think that's the parent back there. But yeah, when that can be noticed also. Like every phenomenal thing, all the mind stuff, the mental stuff, any energetically felt stuff, all that it can be noticed. But the primary thing to notice is the selfing, the mental phenomena that creates the sense of being a separate someone, a separate experiencer. So that has to do with the despair and stuff. But that can be noticed when it appears, that kind of energetic pose of, oh yeah, let me see, let me look at this nothing, let me look at this nothing. And that, if that is not noticed, then the despair sets in. That's kind of my experience in a way, so to speak. But when it's caught, like when it's noticed as it appears, then it cannot produce the despair. The despair just doesn't stay up anymore. So that's the good news, I guess. And it's kind of like when it's noticed, there's just total hands off and kind of a relaxation, like absolute non-worry about it. Absolute non-worry about the nature of reality. Not really caring anymore. There's no one there to care what all this is. But that also somehow makes the paradise evident. It doesn't look like paradise all the time, or doesn't feel like paradise all the time, but in a way it is. If paradise is anything or anywhere, it's this here, not this location, not at this time, not in time, not in location, but still paradise is, or unconditional love is. In a way, love drowns everything in heaven. Or I don't know, that's too sugar and shit, maybe, to say it like that. But there's also there's no tendency, there is nothing grasping at the idea of love or the idea of paradise or idea of heaven. There's no holding on to. If there is some sense of, oh, now I have arrived and now I have tried to keep this up, I have to stay in this state, that is already duality, and that's false. That's a false state, and that masks the heaven or heavenliness of everything. School kids. And the heavenliness has to do with non-reactivity. Non-reactivity to thoughts, ideas, beliefs. There's just being, and this is it. I don't even know where I am, but that's kind of cool. The mental 3D map can be shut down, or it can shut down by itself in a way. When there's a certain kind of a relaxation that happens, the sense of time, the sense of history and the sense of future, that ends, and the sense of location also, like historical location, like I'm on this, or in this city, in this country, etc. I came from there and I'm gonna go there. When that ends, uh, that's also the hands-off kind of a thing that I mentioned. I might have to turn back. I don't know where this is going, this road. I don't know if I can get through here. So the sense of time and location, kind of, it's still recording. I'm just looking at the screen, barely seeing the screen. The sense of time and the sense of location, that seems to be part of the masking of the heavenliness, or of the beauty, of the love. Oh, that has to be forgotten. It has to drop. Time has to drop. Mental processes that have to do with the self, the me, they have to stop for this to be somehow self-evidently what it actually is. It is what it is all the time, what it actually is. It's never anything else, but it seems to be when there's the illusory stuff, illusory mental processes and grasping and aversion going on. Then it's not evident. The love is not evident. There's stress, dissatisfaction, fleeting hope, which is kind of a form of suffering. Hope is what is wanted is not here right now. That's what hope has to do with. Yeah, I'm not in Helsinki right now. And the person has been like fully surrendered. It's not that the person can surrender. The person mode is surrendered. I think the battery is running out, or space is running out, so this might be cut off soon. Again, deja vu. I think the last time I've been on this road actually. The last time I was here, I had a deja vu, and now I have a deja vu about that deja vu somehow. Weird.